secrets nobody knows. Eyes are open, hands are fisted. Deep inside I'm warped and twisted. So many tricks, so many lies. Too many wins, too many whys. Nobody's special, nobody's gifted. I'm just me, warped and twisted. Sleeping awake, choking on a dream. Listen loudly, my silence screams. Calm my mind, the numbers unlisted. Lost in someone, warped and twisted. On my knees, alive but dead. Look at all the blood I shed. I'm not gone, but my head's drifted. Don't expect much, I'm warped and twisted. Burnt out, wasted and hollow. Today's just yesterday's tomorrow. The sun dried out, the ashes sifted. I'm still here, warped and twisted.
Hey y'all, Morning Label Nina, Morning Label Discussions. Morning Label Discussions. That name actually came from a creator on here. It's 12 Gauge Investigates. And I was on his panel one night and we were discussing the incel theory with Elliot Rodger. And of course, me being me, I just say what I think and stuff like that. And he told me that I ought to come with a warning label. And it sort of stuck with me, you know. And so I changed, I started calling my channel Warning Label Discussions because you never know what's going to come out of my mouth. And the reason I'm telling you this is because some of my videos, they're not of the, I guess, the normal that everybody talks about, you know, the frat brothers or the crooked police or, you know, all the theories and everything going around and everything. I sort of go along with a lot of things that are outside the box. And sometimes my thinking, you don't even know there's a box. But I'm okay with that because I do research and what I bring to my videos is documented and proven. It's not just something that I dream up. It's not something that I make up in my sleep or I get it from a dream, or not saying anything against those people that do get it from dreams, you know. But, you know, my biggest story has been that Bundy was reincarnated as Kohberger, that they was summoned up through the spirit box hidden in the secret room in the tunnels at Christ Church that ran to University of Idaho, you know. And I guess that was more of a thing of, well, let's just throw it all on the wall and see what sticks. You know, we've got the tunnels, we've got Christ Church, we've got the college, we've got, you know, the spirit box, we've got all of it covered. That way, we solve the case. And again, I will say, I can't sit in Alabama and solve the Idaho 4. Can't do it. Never claim to do it. Never be arrogant enough. Do I do research? Do I go down rabbit holes? Yes, I do. And if you'll notice my thumbnail, it's got 5 girls on there. One girl being Melissa Kohberger. One girl being Ashley Flugel. One girl being Nicole Murray. One girl, of course, being Xana Kernodle. And the 5th girl being Amanda Montana. And 3 of the 5 are no longer with us. Xana, of course, Kohberger is the defendant in murdering Xana. Ashley Flugel, he used to get high on H with Ashley Flugel. And Nicole Murray was found 3 miles from his house, dead. Take that as you will. I think it's interesting. Now, Melissa Kohberger being his sister. But when I say prototype or anything like that, people are like, they don't look just alike. Are you crazy? You know, the thing about it is, you know, when you say they have a type, it doesn't mean that they're twins or they're triplets or they're their doppelganger or whatever, you know. It just means that they fit that prototype of the original, okay? Now, my research so far, I haven't figured out the original yet. I mean, you know, you would think Melissa, because that's his sister, she would come before Ashley, you know. But if you really look at the thumbnail of the 5 together, the same shape of eyes, the same hair color, the same shape of face, you know, you can't deny that there's a type there. You can't deny that there's a resemblance, that there's something that bunches those 5 together. And I am not in any kind of way saying, what if? We'll do the what if, you know. Now, Ashley Flugel, she died of a heroin overdose in 2018. She died on Lindsay Lane. You can't make that stuff up, because then Xana gets killed where? Right next to Linda Lane. And I know that that's like reaching, okay? But when you sit there and it just sort of clicks in, you know, that they look alike, what would be a motive? Because if you think about it, the motive is the clincher. Because nobody can come up with a motive. Nobody can put anything together that would say, this is the reason that he did this. And I know that everybody says, well, you know, you don't have to prove motive. Well, you know, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I'll never be on the jury. I'm in Alabama. So the way I look at that is, you may not have to prove it, but dang, if you had a motive, it sure does make the puzzle pieces fit. You know, that's the thing about it. Without a motive, it's hard to, even though I have my stand of how I feel about the case, if somebody could tell me why, it'd make my stand a whole lot easier to stand on, if that makes any kind of sense. And when you take a death penalty case to trial, and you have 12 people that are deciding a defendant's fate, 12 people that have to say beyond the shadow of a doubt that this man needs to pay with his life, don't you think that motive might be a little bit of importance? And like I said, I know it doesn't have to be proven. You don't have to have motive. I get that. So, you know, I understand that. But if I was on the jury and I'm making that kind of decision, if you can't give me a motive of why he did it, or how he was connected to him, or anything like that, then I may have a little bit of backing up to do before I put that man to death. And so I think a lot of us, that do the research, it's not to try to solve the case or say we solved the case or change anybody's mind or, be a guilter over here or a pro-burger over there or on the fence over here. I think we want to understand the why. I don't care what time it happened. I don't care what day it happened. I don't care what floor was first. I don't care what victim was first. I don't care why it took 8 hours to call 911. I don't care about any of that. Because the outcome's still going to be the same. Those 4 beautiful souls are still going to be dead. Those 4 beautiful souls, their parents, their families will never hear from them again. They will never hear their voices again. They will never see them have grandchildren. They will never, have children and them have grandchildren. Their dads will never walk their daughter down the aisle. The father will never be the best man at his son's wedding, And don't you think that some kind, and I know that there can never be closure. I lost my son. It'll never be closed. And my son died of an overdose. He didn't come in and nobody else came in and took my son. Nobody else came in and said it was time for my son's life to end. My son's free will did that. And I think that's the difference, is any type of closure that could be possible, there's got to be a why. I can't imagine losing my child and not ever knowing a reason why. Now, I will tell you this. God himself could come down here and say, Nina, this is the reason I took David. I'm going to look at God, and it's still not going to be a good enough reason. I want my son back. That's the selfish part of being human. My son's demons are gone. My son's hate is gone. My son's anger is gone. All that. But the selfish side of me, I would set him in the corner and look at him every day with him miserable just so I could have him back. Being the mama, I wouldn't want him back like that. But my point is, there's never going to be a good enough reason. But can you imagine not having any reason? No reason it happened. No why it happened. No understanding of it. No anything that can help you cope and deal. And don't get me wrong, the why doesn't change the outcome. The why doesn't take away that pain. But I think in that human side of us, maybe we want to understand the why. Why would someone get to that point? You'll never tell me that it's because somebody said that he had roid whatever and shriveled up whatevers, and you'll never tell me that caused 4 people's lives. You will never tell me there was enough drugs in that house that was worth 4 people's lives. You will never tell me that it was retaliation for snitching and ratting people out. Because number one, the people that are being accused of snitching, they would never be trusted by a drug dealer to give them that much information. I lived that life for 16 years. There's no possible way that the plug or anybody higher than the plug would ever give that level of a drug addict enough information to sink them like that. And the thing about it is, the people that they sunk, this is not low-level drug dealers. These are big-time kingpins, And I mean, that's a whole different video there that I could go into that. But my point is, it was a party house. It wasn't a stash house. It was a party house. It wasn't a flop house. It was a party house. It wasn't, no, no, it didn't happen. So the frat boys can go out, the cartel can go out, the Fetty Bros can go out, everybody can. The Farleys, everybody, here's the thing about it, is to set somebody up like that, you're talking 3 states have got to get together and say, okay, we're going to keep our mouths shut because this is the way it is. A whole town, a whole state, just of Idaho and Moscow, has to get together and everybody keep their mouth shut. That ain't happening. If you got more than one person, somebody's going to squeal. So, I mean, it's going to come down to just the simplistic, somebody snapped, somebody did it, and it's not going to have any kind of salaciousness or any kind of national inquiry story or anything like that. Now, do I think that people benefited from this? Yeah, I do. I think the college benefited greatly from this. I think that, do I think they were involved? Not at all. I don't think any of them were involved. Do I think they took advantage of a horrible situation? Absolutely, I do. Do I think that that's absolutely disgusting? Absolutely, I do. But is it against the law? Absolutely not. Unfortunately not. Did people make millions? Yeah, they did. But you know what? That's on them. And in order to get real justice, we've got to make sure that we have the right defendant. And no matter how I feel about it or what I feel about it, if that defendant's innocent, nobody gets justice if he gets found guilty. If he's guilty, nobody gets justice if he's found innocent. The only real justice is real justice, and that includes justice for him. And I'll ask anybody, if you feel so strongly for him being innocent, when he comes home and he needs a place to stay, are you going to invite him to come stay at your house with your wife and kids, with your husband and dogs? Can he come and sleep over and you feel safe? And if you feel that strongly about it, mad respect to you. I'm glad that you stand that firm in your belief, and mad respect for that. I have no qualms about it. But the thing about it is, if he is guilty, then we need that proven. And I guess the research that I bring out is like with these 5. What's the possibilities? What's the possibilities of all 5 of them having the look of a certain type? All 5 of them being involved in some kind of way with Kohberger. And Amanda Montana, the reason she's in there, she's still alive. The reason she's in there is because she ran with the clique that he was running with during his wilder days. And if I remember correctly, there was a note. I can't remember if it was to Montana or from Montana. And of course, we all just thought the state Montana. I do know that Drunk Turkey and True Crime Time, I think they did a show where they had came up with Montana. I think she was a student at WSU, if I'm not mistaken. And that could be totally right. I am not in any kind of way trying to dispute what anybody else has put out. I just thought that, when I was coming across my research, it was interesting when I found Amanda Montana, and she had the same look and type as the others. And this is just, to be open-minded, to think outside the box, to think of the possibilities, to think, was this his first time? Was this his first time at taking a life? Look at the 5 girls and tell me with an open mind and no kind of, she's just batshit crazy, because that's okay too. But if you can, without any kind of bias, without any kind of, just look at the picture and just think about, was it his first kill? And that's as point blank as I know to put it, I mean, Nicole Murray to be found 3 miles from his house. Ashley Flugel to be said to be the girl that, he was infatuated with. And yes, her death was ruled an overdose on Linda Lane. Anyway. And just ask yourself if it's possible. And I'm probably going to do some more videos because I have a few more. But I was going to start out slow with 5. And this is in no way accusing or anything. I mean, hell, the way I look at it is we can accuse the frat boys. We can accuse Joe Blow of it. We can accuse Susie Q of it. We can, well, hell, let's look at these angles too. I mean, and that's the thing about it is let's don't just look at one angle. Let's look at all of them. Let's look at all the possibilities. Let's look at anything and everything, no matter how crazy it is, no matter how far-fetched it is. I mean, we've looked at goblins coming out of the ground and shadow people and, stuff like that. So, hey, we can look at a picture of 5 girls and wonder, was this his first kill? If he's the one that did it. If he is the single person that went into this house and killed 4 people, was it his first kill? That's my question. So I am Morning Label Nina. This is Morning Label Discussion in my rocking chair. I'm sorry. So I will see y'all next time. And let's see, what's my next video going to be about? Oh, Dawn Daniels. My next video is about Dawn Daniels. We're going to talk about Miss Daniels over at WSU. And even though you know my stand on the case, I do not mind bringing up things that I think was totally effed up in this case. And Miss Daniels is one of them. So I will see y'all next time. Just think about it. Morning Label Discussions, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.